When we see how the future is presented in the news or media, it often seems to be about the latest technological advancements, wonder drugs, headline events, or controversial issues.
However, the change that the future brings will be at a deeper level. The novel uses and abuses of technologies, the changing relationship between humans and their environment, and what it even means to be human. This episode takes a closer look at a futures research method suited to examining these deeper questions. Enter causal layered analysis.
I'm Martin Richards.
I am Zainab Yassin,
And we're futures researchers.
and we are based at the Finland Futures Research Center.
Causal layered analysis, or CLA for short, is not nearly as technical as its name suggests. In fact, if you are using this method in a workshop, it would probably better help to have someone with a literature or arts background at your side. This is because CLA bridges the material level of futures, the visible events, the infrastructures, and the inner levels of futures, the systems of thought, the worldviews, and the stories and symbols used to communicate ideas about transformation and tradition.
CLA is the top-cited method of critical future studies, with 189 peer-reviewed articles on Web of Science between 1996 and 2025. Coined and developed by Sohail Inayatullah, the method applies literary and critical theory to deconstruct the paradigms of thought that shape what we perceive as possible, in order to open space for intentional changes for the better.
I'm sure you must be saying enough background already. How does this method work in practice? The L in CLA is the key. It stands for layers. The idea is to address a topic on 4 layers of abstraction, like peeling the skin off an onion to expose the core. The logic of this approach is that a new direction can then be introduced at a more fundamental level, reshaping systems from within instead of playing whack-a-mole.
I'm sure that you are now curious to hear more about the layers mentioned previously. These are called headlines, systems, worldviews, and metaphor. Sometimes they have other names too, but for the sake of simplicity, we will use these in this video. CLA can be used to structure a conversation about an issue on the following levels.
Headlines. Discussion of issues at the level of newspaper headlines. Face value interpretations. You could call them hot takes. They may make use of statistics without context. This level is descriptive and observational. It might answer, what's happening? An example could be, this is the hottest summer on record.
Systems are discussions of the causal relationships or mechanics driving an issue. It may draw attention to specific factors contributing to the issue. This layer addresses them analytically with the aim to explain how things work and the interconnections between actors in ecosystems. Example, the greenhouse effect causes global warming.
Worldview is about how issues are framed through mindsets and values. Attention is drawn to the structures and embedded assumptions that give rise to particular ways of thinking and doing. The focus is on how does what we believe shape our actions, often drawing on what is considered normal or acceptable in public discourse. Example, humans are responsible, so must reduce carbon emissions.
Metaphor is about the stories and symbols that are used to talk about issues. Often deeply embedded in cultural and historical myths, this layer touches on the emotional roots that connect storytelling to understanding. Visuals and symbolic language are often deployed at this level. Examples may be, we live on spaceship Earth.
CLA exercises are often visualized as an iceberg. The surface level headlines are visible above the water, but beneath the waves are hidden depths of meaning, structure, and perspective. And so conversations progress like a diving expedition, exploring deeper layers of an issue.
Why is a deeper exploration useful? Well, the idea is that if you can progress a conversation to a deeper level of abstraction, then you may uncover insights that allow you to make more effective changes. Some version of CLA not only describe an issue, but also transform it. Generating a new myth that addresses the problems with the old myth can then help to bring about meaningful change in worldview, system, and headlines.
Taking the example of humans are the custodians of spaceship Earth, one problem with this metaphor is that it privileges human actors as saviors and reduces Earth to a machine without agency. Perhaps then a new metaphor such as, "We are Earth's fleeting dreams," suggesting connection and interdependence, as well as a humbling imperative not to be a nightmare as temporary visitors.
The power of this approach lies in thinking through an issue along with others to co-create shared symbols and new ideas suitable for your time and place. CLA sets the scene for the next stage of follow-through actions, enabling deeper consideration of the topic at hand.
CLA requires skilled facilitation and framing. There is a risk that discussions can over-interpret or reinforce biases. Contrary to its name, CLA isn't a systems mapping tool and does not help with identifying causal relationships.
To make the most of your participation in a CLA exercise, stay curious, try not to solve problems too early. Practice slow thinking, notice, reflect, and vocalize your insights. Bring your personal experiences, stories, and cultural background to the table. It's enriching.
In conclusion, CLA is at its best when exploring narratives, assumptions, or cultural frames, preferably early on in a process. 2. Reframe the issue at hand. It's great for multi-stakeholder groups who are engaged in strategic processes and complements systemic tools for implementation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Join us in the next video.
Alternative futures, exploring structured uncertainties through scenario thinking.
Functionality.
So you use GPS. So that's where sort of
Yeah,
navigation.
that's
That's probably
security
autonomous.
issues.